Yes, we're back. All right. It's the last day. It's happy birthday, Alessi Arc. Can't believe it. You're 35. But a lot of things are going on. Things. I'm kind of caught up with most of my reading. I'm taking a class right now in music history, so I'm doing pretty well in the first week and the second week too, I think. And so we're still reading Ulysses. I'm up in two-page. I'm on. We're in Cyclops right now. I read the first part of Cyclops. Cyclops is a pretty challenging chapter because it's there's a it has like an unnamed narrator, and then there's a citizen, and then there's all these like crazy lists and this um, uh, kind of discursive. It's a look that up. Yeah, it just kind of goes into you know, it's just like it's kind of this kind of weird, uh, you know, um, long kind of. It's almost. I guess the Tristram Shandy kind of comes in here. I wonder what they think. But let's see. So I haven't been here for a week, but we got through. And I've watched all the videos and stuff. I'm kind of interested in what I think of the Cyclops chapter. But I think like last time I was talking about um, the what's this? Fred Armisen. Oh, I think last week I was talking about skill and Charybdis. And so let's see where. Let me look at my videos. Okay, so I'm reading. I'm right in the middle of Cyclops. Let me just kind of review some of the videos here from last year that I did. So like to remind. Oh, here we go. Ulysses. Okay, so how I'm reading this book different from last year. I'm reading about 5 or 10 pages. I think like last week we were okay. So last week I think we were in the middle of Skill and Charybdis or towards the end. I read Wandering Rocks, which I thought was a pretty interesting chapter. Sirens. Um, I guess that's the first real experimental chapter. And then Cyclops is even getting more intense. So I'll read like 5 or 10 pages a day, and then I take a break. I listen to it too. I'll read that, and then I'll read the corresponding part of the illusions and stuff. And sometimes I get to the third book, but I'm kind of falling behind a little bit. And then I watched the video, kind of what I was thinking about last year, and then there's other kind of aids. I read what the people are talking about in the group. There's usually like a Zoom call on Wednesdays that we all. Last week we talked to the guy that was in the head of the University of Buffalo, the James Joyce collection there. So we were talking about that, and Mark, our fearless leader, was had went there already, so you get to see a lot of James Joyce's papers, his photos, his eyeglasses, his cane, like his stuff, like the Sylvia Beach collection. So just to review those, so Skill and Trip, this still my favorite chapter. You know, I think that one's really good. Wandering Rocks is sort of hard to grapple. Sirens is weird, but it's a little bit consistent. I mean, it kind of focuses on Simon Dedalus and just the women in the bar, and then we get to Cyclops. So Cyclops, it's a whole new narrator. There's a whole new, there's like different parts. There's a part B, like, so there's the regular narrator, the guy, and he narrates it in first person, and he's talking about the citizen who has a dog in the bar, and and then it kind of goes into this weird, kind of real, kind of graphic and relentless, kind digressive. I meant not discursive, but digressive kind of, kind of that seems like kind of like almost like robotic or mechanical or something. Kind of so it's that's kind of strange. So that's I noticed that. So let's see what else is going on. Okay, so I'm glad I got the Talking Heads T-shirt. So how long we've been going? So yeah, I got a few more books. I read a book about Oasis, and what I'm not sure what I'm going to read next. Let's see. Let's go to my reading. Okay, so you can follow me on Goodreads, Alexander Lawrence on Goodreads, and I got a book, about AI, Angela Carter, George Perec. And let's see, what have I read? I haven't read Sally Rooney, who has a new book. Let's see. I've read 40 books this year. I'm not including I read The Ravishing of Lowell Stein recently. So, and then, and some poetry. And then before that, I read Talking Heads. I probably mentioned that in another video. But there's a book called Gallagher, The Rise and Fall of Oasis. Probably already know the story. They're coming back. A lot of bands and the music front, it's kind of slowing down in July. A lot of bands are canceling shows. There's at least 2 big cancels of shows I was going to go to. So I got to reconfigure what I'm going to do. So that's it. Like, or if there's any questions about Ulysses, let me just say what I was saying to some other people. I mean, when I read the book last year, or when I usually I read anywhere from like 50 or 100 pages a day. If it's a nonfiction book, sometimes I can read like almost 200 pages a day, but that's pretty much from all day, kind of nonstop. Like maybe and I'm really interested in the subject or something. And then, but usually like a literary novel, I'll read like, 40, 50 pages, 100 pages, maybe if it's a fast read, maybe. And I think like last year, I would read like 50 pages a day of Ulysses, like 40 or 50, like quite a lot. So all of a sudden you have this arbitrary, since you're reading Ulysses in 80 days, you're kind of forced to read slower. I'm listening to the RTE program. So there's actors acting it out. So I'm listening to that. So it kind of slows it down. It's almost like, and I'm following along in the book. So it's almost like you're listening to a book on tape or something. And oh yeah, here's a latest book I just got. I used to have a copy of this, but I've read this before. It has, I think it has a poem in here too. Like let's see, I think there's more than, let's see, contents. Okay, so you have how I wrote certain of my books. Oh, a bit of Locus Solus. New imprint. So it's like a collection of books and stuff. This is Exact Change was a publisher, I think based in England, that kind of published some interesting books. It was like one of those ones during the Cups days. I was like, I'm kind of hanging on there. What was I saying? Okay, so if you're only reading 10 pages a day, you're listening to sound. You're kind of focusing. Yeah. It would be kind of like going into, like when I go to galleries, I kind of move real fast. I don't really hang out and just, but the way we're reading Ulysses this time is like I'm hanging out, I'm kind of like sitting there on the chair looking at the painting for a long time, and you start to notice different things that you wouldn't notice, and you go, and because it's slowed down, it gives you more time to concentrate. So, and then you're kind of listening to what other people are saying or what they're focusing on. So it's kind of interesting and in that way. So yeah, it's like it's a Ulysses summer. Last year was the Brat summer. This year is Ulysses summer. So yeah, it's going on. We're about a third of the way through. The book gets kind of bizarre after this. So thanks for watching. I'll do another video about some other subjects. Okay, take care. We'll be back with some more book talk and some focus on different authors.